is actually in the what's called the Humphrey Forum, right to my left as you go out the door. And so if you didn't see it last night or want to take one last look, we have to be out of this space by 5 o'clock tonight. So I can't encourage you to linger along after we ended 4:30. But if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, please do. The exhibit was sent to us thanks to the kind efforts of the AAC, who got them to send it to us for free. So anyway, yeah. I love it. Chip Bach did one of me that I've still got hanging on my wall, and I looked a little younger than that because he did it about 20 years ago. So anyway, I'm going to let Matt take it away and do whatever it is he's going to do, and then around 4:15, in about 45 minutes, we're going to stop and let Rosalind and Pat Bagley come up and give the final word.
Okay, so I have about 10, 15 minutes here. I have 45 minutes to fill. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay, if there are any cartoonists who were doing doodles and offering other metaphorical insights to the proceedings, feel free to bring your stuff down and share it. Because this is a bit of an experiment. We're trying to memorialize the symposium with a proper report, but then we're going to, of course, appropriately enough, use cartoons, or so we hope, to illustrate the proceedings. You have yours. In fact, here, come sit closer to me, Joel. Come on. So some of these will be. I've been trying to organize them in chronological order, but we're going to mess up because we're doing this really on the fly. So. This is, the old saw about journalism as the first draft of history. Well, this is the very rough sketch of what we were talking about last night and today. So I think the place to start here, is this too big? Oh, shoot. This is Ann Telnis's work in progress here. Which you're getting a little preview. It's not entirely inked. Starting out with a bang. Okay, then, of course, with cartoonists, we're going to have plenty of caricatures. Another Jane Kirtley. This is by Andy Singer. And then Friday night's proceedings, we started out with Anne, and am I getting these vaguely? Pull it down a little bit, like that. Okay, excellent. I take no responsibility for what I'm putting on the screen, okay? Things are being just handed to me. Here's Signe.
No, that's Anne and Sack.
Yes, they're drawn by Signe. What else do we have?
That's
here?
not what you said, though. You said, here's Signe.
Oh, here's Signe's effort. I'm sorry. Thank God you're here.
You know, every cartoonist needs an editor.
Kahn, now you're really sorry you came. In the proceedings on Friday, it seemed like there was a spirit looming over the proceedings. So, down. Is that, okay, getting in the zone.
It's like scratching an itch.
I know. Push it away from Joel. Like that more. There we are, down more. I need like a target here. I'm gonna do this. Okay.
I didn't know we were gonna have assignments.
Oh, excellent. Okay, wait. Okay, we're going out of chronological order already, but that's okay. Here is Steve Ardley's interpretation of Jack is Jack. Let's see, I'm going to hold off on these. Well, while we're on the subject of the fabulous Jack Oman, here's another one. Who did this? Bagley. This is a Bagley.
Bag job.
Yeah, a bag job.
Bagmen.
Remember that guy in Florida who killed himself?
I still don't know what method he used. I bet he shot himself. Chicken shit.
Okay, thank you.
Where's the
What's
remote
your name? Tamara. Okay, Tamara, does this even work? Can you do it? Oh my God, look at an iPad. Wow. That's really nice.
Whoa.
And insignia from their best side. Sorry. Hey, sorry. Poor attempt at humor. Okay.
What did you mean by that?
Now, oops, coming back, another Telnus.
Everybody else's looks like they like did it, you know, when they're drunk or something, and Anne's are just beautiful. Like, why do we invite her to shit? Is what I'd like to know.
Oh my God, wait.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now we're getting really technological. Wait. Can I go like that? There you go. Yeah, that's amazing. You're cheating. Enough of this digital technology. This is from this morning's panel about the Hustler decision. This is Cullum. Cullum Rogers. Here we're deploying the metaphors here.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, never forget your First Amendment. I like it. Should be a cartoonist, Colin. Where are you?
Where'd that go? We have Chip Bach realizing that our cartoon patron saint, Larry Flint. And then the real patron saint of cartooning. This was done by Susan Cox. You can,
And she's wearing a turban.
and she's let's see. Oh my gosh! Okay, we're going. You're throwing off our chronology, but here would be real life Governor Roman. Thank you. What?
It's brains, obviously.
Yeah, that was Mr. Breen. And here's from the same panel. Here's another Sidney Wilkinson of Ben Sargent.
Those are stripes? Freezing?
Yeah, no. Here is Andy Singer with another Ben Sargent. Did I get all of these? Yes, I think I did.
Was there an obscenity, Andy, under the thing you marked out? Rehnquist shit was.
Okay, next panel.
Wow.
Where you step. Okay, cartoonists and lawyers, what could go wrong? Another Andy Singer. Don't you have a
Yeah, I've got to have one of everything, but I was.
you're going to wait. Well, here, show your.
I'm
show
not
your
waiting.
George
I didn't want to do it. You made me do it.
You have to come
You
up.
should have heard Steve Sack badmouth in this piece of today's thing. He
Really?
said, yeah, he goes, I'm not doing that shit. What
I-
am I,
no,
a trick pony?
Come on, Joel, do your tricks.
You know, I should point out that tonight is the Minnesota Book Awards, and Steve Sack's cartoon book is up for the fiction category. And if he doesn't win, we're going to go down there and fuck them up.
Wait, before you go, we've got one here of Rosalind that we have to be sure to include in the proceedings. One of the more important points made during the day today. And
Sleep.
this is another Signy. This is great. I can just keep going. Do you have anything really obscene in here, Signy? I hope so. Okay. And now back to our panel of legal experts.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, Jack Niehoff. Wasn't he great? Len.
Len.
Just a minute, will you guys, because I want to get a picture of this we can send to
This is, I believe this is Mr. Bagley memorializing. There we go. Chip Bach. Chip? Let's see, another Andy Singer. Okay, I tried to use a metaphor here. I don't know if it works, but this was free speech is a risk worth taking. You got one?
I still have the same book full that I had when you asked me that
Okay,
the first
you
time.
go.
I don't really care, you know. I mean,
I think you should show your stuff, Joel.
under protest. So, yeah, SAC last night. And here's the thing, though. Everybody knows you don't hang a horseshoe upside down. It's bad luck. You're supposed to put it the other way up. See, SAC. Oh, God, I couldn't do Texas, and I was afraid to, like, use Google because the last thing I Googled was obscene. I thought the person behind me would see it. So this is Ben Sargent saying actual size of Falwell's ego. And can I just get through them and leave? Would that be okay? And this is Rosalind going from j'accuse to je recuse because, as the joke has now already been ruined, she allegedly slept with either Falwell, Flint, Rehnquist, or all three. This is, I tried to draw Mike Peters. I couldn't get it, so I fucked it up for a couple pages. And then finally I got one where he says, what if men got pregnant? And, you know, because he's like 80, and but he still acts like a teenager. And so that's why everybody thinks of him as the Peter Pan of our crew. And then this is George Freeman, who, you know, sells those grills. Can I just keep going, or you want me to quit?
Keep going. This is good.
And then Steve Breen, I loved his thing about how we just want to knock people off pedestals. We're not against pedestals. We just don't want anything on them. A nice, clean, uncluttered pedestal is what we're going for here. And then this is Len Niehoff, a.k.a. Wooly Willie, which those of you of a certain age will remember was like a magnetic, it was like a bald guy with a bunch of pieces of shredded steel, iron, whatever in there, iron filings. Thank you, I'm an idiot. And then you'd mess around with it and make him various facial hair with a magnet. This is Jack Oman trying to teach me how to crosshatch, because I can't do it. That was a screw up. And this is Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. By this time it was late. I was like, ask not what your country can do for you, but what it's done for you lately. The selfishness of America. And then the last one is sad pencil neck me saying these are the lines that they draw in oppressive regimes, these vertical lines. So that's all I got.
That's an excellent caricature. An excellent caricature. Let's see. I'm going to keep that there. Then this is Mike Wilkie, a local talent.
Where's Mike?
Mike is there in the back.
Ah.
Another one by Mike. That's Trump. Yeah. Let's see. Here's my attempt at trying to turn the legal panel thing into a political cartoon. I hadn't heard the expression IED used in terms of emotional.
Right.
So this is Bill Rehnquist, star of Emotional Hurt Locker. It's stretching. Sometimes you have to stretch the metaphor, but you know, I was on the spot. Let's see. Here we have Sophia's presentation on satire.
Who drew that? Was that Cullum?
That's Cullum, I believe, yes.
You know, Sophia's like prettier than that, Cullum. You've insulted her, I think. Yeah, that's Gandhi.
And Andy Singer. I'd never heard the expression satire intervention. There's something to do with this. This is satire intervening after 9/11. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a satirical intervention with Steve Sack at some point here. Let's see, moving chronologically, my attempt at Jack Oman, the proud,
He looks like Sean Hannity.
yeah. And perhaps the most important takeaway from Jack's speech, a barnacle is a ship. We have that in all our notes.
Is that Bach, Arthur Chip Bach?
That would be Arthur Chip Bach, yeah. Let's see, moving on. Boy.
Get plastic surgery and kill myself.
Yeah, right.
Then Signe.
Aw.
And then it was interesting to learn about Martin Luther and the Pope duking it out with cartoons. And for me, the most salient thing was learning the proper Protestant way. I will never draw farts the same.
You'll get a
Thank you.
fartwa put on you for that.
Let's see, and this is, I don't know if Bastian is still here. This is Twitter parody meets hair parody. This is Kirk Anderson. And then, thanks to them, I learned about e-personification and remembering Cullum's line about, you're not famous until a crazy person thinks they're you.
That is great, Cole.
We try to get all the important lines reported down. And then for the last panel, I think everybody was running out of drawing juice, so you're stuck with me. Here is the picture of sacrilege. Let me try to get it in there. There's, just assuming that the Lord does have a sense of humor. And then Chip's concern about hate speech is hard to define, but Zuckerberg thinks that AI can do it. So we're going to end up with a new form of
Oh, that's good.
justice.
Wow.
And then the last thing, ripping off of Joel.
In code we trust.
Yeah. So support CRNI, because there are a lot of cartoonists in the world that aren't as lucky as us, and they can use our help. That's great. Did we miss anybody's sketches, whatever? If you've got stuff and it's not quite done and you want to share it, approach me and I'll give you my email, because we're going to try to use this in the printed report. So. Oh, Column's got another one. From Friday night. Here we go. That's right. Come on, get out of the. It's right. If you can't take the heat, there we go. And what's that? That is. It is witty lines. Take daily for sanity. There you go. Great. Okay. Thank you all. I think with that, do you have any comments, questions? We ran through this pretty quick.
Do we have time to waste? Can I draw my Mitch McConnell? I do it everywhere I go. It takes 10 seconds.
I'm sorry I got Joel back on the stage.
I don't have to do it. Fuck y'all.
Go, do it.
That's what they say in Kentucky. Fuck y'all.
Come on, draw it.
Fuck y'all.
We had the whole panel.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay. Bring it over here.
A little bit more what?
I know how to turn this off, power off.
All right. He's always got this vaguely sort of constipated / dyspeptic look on his face, like he's hadn't crapped in a month or something. Except when he's just really screwed you, and then he beams like a kid with a new bike. Thank you for indulging me in that.
Yes? No? Yes? Yes? How about this? This will do. So Rosalind and Pat are going to come up and wrap everything up in however much time they want to take, as long as they're done by 4:30. But before I hand it to them, I just want to quickly thank some people that have been working behind the scenes very hard to make this event a success. The cartoonists and the other panelists, presenters, know that Elaine Hargrove has been the facilitator behind all this. So please do thank her. And we've also had graduate students, Casey Carmody, Scott Memel, and Brittany Robb, who have also been playing the dog's buddy role all weekend, so please join me in thanking them. And again, our very generous sponsors, the Silha Center for the Study of Media Ethics and Law, the Minnesota Journalism Center, and the Hubbard School for Journalism and Mass Communication. So thanking you all for taking the time to come and join and share your wit and wisdom with us. I'm now going to let Pat and Rosalind wrap things up. Oh, and thanks to Will. Poor Will.
So do I bring?
Can you do that again? I didn't capture that. There's more to go.
Well, we're at that point in a symposium where everything has been said and everyone has said it. I want to thank Jane and the Silha Center and AAC for providing the opportunity to acknowledge this truly significant Supreme Court case and to allow us to bring it forward to chronicle the history and its relevance today. But I'm going to give Chief Justice Rehnquist the last word. No, I'm going to do it.
It's on upstairs. Hit pause real quick. It's not on upstairs. I had muted it, so I'll be right back. And I'll be right back.
Huh? It'll take a moment.
In the third of this rather long series of cases, number 86-12-78, Hustler Magazine et al. Versus Falwell. Respondent Jerry Falwell, a nationally known minister and commentator on public affairs, sued petitioner Hustler Magazine and its publisher, petitioner Larry Flint, for the torts of libel and intentional infliction of emotional distress. after an ad parody featuring Falwell's name and picture was published in Hustler magazine. This ad parody also contained a fictional interview with Falwell in which he allegedly describes a drunken and incestuous encounter with his mother in an outhouse. After a trial, the jury held for Hustler on the libel claim, specifically finding that the ad parody could not reasonably be understood as describing actual facts about Falwell or actually events in which he participated. The jury found for Falwell on the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim, however, and awarded him both compensatory and punitive damages. The Court of Appeals affirmed this award, and we now reverse the judgment of the Court of Appeals. The respondent contends that the First Amendment does not prevent a public figure from recovering damages for speech that meets the requirement of the state law tort of intentional infliction of emotional distress. That is, speech that was intended to inflict emotional distress was outrageous and did in fact inflict serious emotional distress. We think, however, that in the context of public debate about public figures, the First Amendment prohibits the finding of tort liability solely on the basis of an intent to injure or to harm. The fact that the speech at issue is outrageous is not a sufficient basis to subject it to tort liability. For if you went ahead on this basis, it would allow jurors to impose liability on the basis of their tastes or views and perhaps on the basis of their dislike of a particular expression. We conclude that in order for a public figure or public official to recover for the intentional infliction of emotional distress, you need to show additionally that the publication was made with actual malice, that is, with knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not. Here it's clear the respondent is a public figure, and therefore he may not recover on the basis that the Court of Appeals said he could. Justice White has filed an opinion concurring in the judgment. Justice Kennedy took no part.
There you have it.
I'm going to pull a Marco Rubio here. Okay, I want to thank Matt Worker and Ann Telness for pulling this together, because dealing with cartoonists is kind of like herding cats, right? It's kind of tough. I'd also like to thank Rosalind Mazer and Jane Kirtley and Stephen and Alice Silha, who are supporting this. Most of you know that I work in Utah, which is a very religious state, a very Mormon state. And when I first started working at the Salt Lake Tribune, I did this cartoon where I showed it was a Mormon family, and there was a mother, and she was in the kitchen, barefoot, pregnant, and there were a dozen kids running around the place, and I can't remember what the cut line, what the caption was, but we published it, and we got a lot of response from people who were angry. Now, they weren't angry about the woman who was barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen. They weren't angry about the kids. They were angry that I had done a picture of the temple, and it was crooked. Another cartoon I did later, and this is my prophet story, I was thinking about doing this cartoon about the most recent LDS president of the church. He's the prophet of the church. And his name was Hinckley. And Hinckley was very open to talking to people, and he was on Larry King, and he was very open to the press, which was unusual for a president of the church. And I can't understand why I'm so nervous. So anyway, I did this cartoon, and I had to think about it because, as far as I knew, nobody had done a caricature of the Mormon prophet. And I thought, do I do this? Well, he's a public figure. So I went ahead and drew this, and he's talking to Larry King, and Larry King is saying, when we return, more of Mormons, ordinary people just trying to become gods. And so we published it, and what I found out is that there were any number of people who were willing to be offended on behalf of President Hinckley. You know, but Hinckley saw the cartoon, and apparently he thought it was okay, you know, because he was kind of cute in the cartoon. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for helping out here, for coming. And that's pretty much all I got to say. So thanks for being here.
Say what? Yes.
Can I give you a hand?
Oh, good. Thanks, Mike.